Getting here with Gardening Simplified. It is May 25th. Today we're going to talk about harvesting garlic and the process to cure it out. We're going to look at an elephant garlic harvest. So I've done this kind of in a little time span. We actually harvested on the 17th. So let's get into this video. Okay, we're out here fixing to get started. I say, or get some more done. We've harvested part of that row. We've harvested this row right here a few days ago, and we're going to start harvesting here. And let's see if I can get my thing to zoom out a little bit. Now, some of you may have noticed we've got this pyramid in the garden here, and I've been kind of holding off to see. This was another electroculture experiment. This pyramid is to size or angles and everything, so the dimensions are right. But we put it in the middle of the garlic. We're going to see if it affected the growth of the garlic. And what I've done, I've got 6 rows in between here, and I've got 6 rows on both sides of this. And we're going to see. I'm going to take these out, and then we're going to look at it and see if we can make a determination kind of whether it made a difference on this size of this garlic or not, because it was looking smaller in there, but I don't know what the bulb size is going to be like. So let me get this harvested, and then we'll take a look at it. Okay, we got the garlic harvested in this area. This is the electroculture garlic. This is on the one side, and this is on the other side. And what I got to say is, it does look like a little bit less from the electroculture area than the others. The bulbs running roughly the same size on the bulbs. But what I want to say is, I hear a lot of people talk about electroculture, but one of the things about electroculture is intent. And if you don't understand intent, then you don't understand the principle, and it could be all intent. As far as when you put a copper coil or a pyramid or a magnetic antenna or an aerial antenna for electroculture. Now, aerial antennas, you can actually measure the voltage, so it will increase the voltage in the soil a little bit, which does stimulate microbes. But the main thing is intent. And if you listen to some of the ones that's really out there that's really showing electroculture, and this isn't completely scientific. I mean, we didn't weigh the globes that we put in to make sure that they were all roughly the same size or weight. We do have a tree here that shades part of it. Like it's shaded now, it starts getting sun over there, but there's no noticeable difference in the size from the tree. The biggest part of the growing time is for us is in the winter, so shade's not going to be an issue because we don't have leaves on the tree. But these are all on drip. They've got the same amount of water. Now, I did overhead water these, but tried to pay close attention, make sure they're all getting the same amount. I wouldn't give more to one or the other. But this, as far as scientific goes nowadays, this might be considered a scientific test, but I'm going to say it's anecdotal. There's not enough to show now. A lot of times people forget about intent, and I stress that to a lot of gardeners. Or people that aren't gardeners, because they say, I can't grow anything. Well, that's automatic. I can't. If you take it and you focus your intent on that it's going to grow, it's going to be big, uh, it's going to take off. Your plants are going to grow, they're going to be big, and they're going to take off. That's just you focus your reality. Now, that might sound like some mumbo jumbo or some religious deal, but you people are energy beings. We project a frequency. That's why talking to your plants and things like that really affect it. So you could say that is the actual electroculture on the biggest part of it. You can put any kind of gizmos in there, but if you change your focus and you start thinking about uh, gardening, and I hope I don't lose a bunch of you, but if you start thinking about gardening and not say I can't, always try new things, and if they don't turn out like you want, well, try a different method. But always uh, keep your focus on your garden's doing good and that your plant's doing good. Don't get out there be miserable. Oh, I got all these weeds. There's weeds all over out here. I picked up some, put in the wheelbarrow. Vicky's over there cleaning weeds out another row. That's just part of gardening. But it's not the bad part. It's kind of depressing when you feel like you can't keep up. But just keep at it. Now I'm gonna get the rest of this up, and we're gonna see what our garlic haul is for today. Okay, we got one wheelbarrow full, and I'm gonna say it's full, but we still have all of this to take and pull up, and I better get after it because my supervisor over there is keeping an eye on things. Okay, got one more wheelbarrow full. Get in there and prepare these for curing out, and we'll see what we got all together. Okay, as promised, here's the uh, elephant garlic harvest. I think these tarps are like 5 by 7, something like that. But all this right here is what we harvested. Now, this is a lot of garlic. Uh, like I said earlier in the season, the whole idea was this year I want to pickle some garlic. Of course, we're going to have a whole lot. We'll probably freeze dry the biggest part of this, and we'll have it for years down the road. This is part of the process. I have a fan here that I run uh, to keep air moving. You don't have to have a high volume of air, but it's garlic cures better if it's got air moving, get the moisture away. You can see how the ends are cut anywhere from uh, 2 to 4 inches. I like to cut the bigger ones a little bit longer. Uh, that way they don't dry out real quick and split the outside. Now, if they do split the outside, a lot of people say garlic doesn't store if you break all the sheathing and just the cloves are there. But I found and I intentionally saved half a dozen last year that the outside dried real quick and the uh, outside skin split, so the cloves were exposed, and that was for my seed uh, garlic. There was some of the bigger cloves, and I like to always save uh, the bigger bulbs because the bigger cloves going to give you bigger garlic. But anyway, it kept just as good. The main thing is to get it dry. Now, we did harvest our onions. These were our ones that were planted in the fall, and we've got them drying here too. It's looks like they're fairly dry now. What we'll come back and we'll cut these tops back about 3 inches. That way, there won't be a lot of moisture, less of a chance of the onions trying to start growing back or something quicker until we get these processed. And most of these will be freeze dried. We will keep some for fresh onions for a few months, but here in the South, with our uh, the way our garlic or the way our varieties are for our onions. We can't grow a long storage onion, so most of ours will only store about 2 to 3 months before they want to start growing or rotting. So uh, I've found that when we hang them up with the stems on, we get more rot. So anyway, we're gonna now we're gonna show how to once your garlic is dried some, we're going to show you the process of getting it ready for storage. Okay, this is our silver skin, and we tried to harvest it when it started dying back. It was really small, so we give it a little more time. It's still not all that big because most of our cloves with this should be about this size, and you can see a lot of them smaller. But once we get it finished, it's going to look like this, kind of white, like you get in the store. But when you go through this process, what I've done, I've cut the tops back. Now you want to cut them back, but you don't want to cut the top of your cloves. That's going to create a problem. And the way we do this is I just like to take scissors because the top's kind of soft. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take this bottom off. Now, normally if it's dried pretty good, a lot of times it'll just pop off all the way. I just get the rest of these roots off, get it kind of cleaned up, and then you'll just take and rub this outer skin off. Now, you don't want to take a whole lot off, and now some of this, the skin is already off here. It is a little discolored, but we're not going to worry about that, especially right now at this point. Once you get your garlic like this, because you're going to let it dry till it's good and dry, and you want to watch too for certain garlic like this here. There's a few that wanted to grow afterwards. Now I'll go ahead and do this one the same way as far as we're going to take the top off, but being it's trying to grow, that is a little bit extra moisture in there. And this garlic is bad about that. You see how easy this bottom come off. But you want to feel this garlic, and you want to make sure it doesn't feel soft. If it feels spongy, that means it's not going to store. And so what you want to do is just throw that out. Don't waste time with it. But it's really easy preparing it for that last step. Now, I'm one of these guys that I like to take extra precautions, and it always, to me, it always pays off good because once I got this good and dry for storage, because I don't store mine at this point, what I do is I'll take this bunch of garlic and I'll just lay it out on my table here. I'll have my ceiling fan on low so it keeps the air moving. And I'm going to let this dry out for 2 to 3 more weeks, so I know it's good and dry. There's not a lot of moisture, because what happens is if you go ahead and store it like this, and you have just a couple of bulbs in there that's got a lot of moisture, say like that one that was trying to grow or something. If you have something in there and it's got enough moisture, it can start spoiling more of your garlic, and plus you'll get a bad smell because it'll be rotten. But it's easy as that. There's no big trick, but I never do actually go to this stage in the video and talk about how to prepare it for storage. And if you prepare it right, I'll take the biggest one of my garlic, my better ones. I'll save them for seed for next year. I'll know approximately how much I want to plant, and it'll be good and ready to go, and then we'll just eat the rest. So if you, like I say, if you take the time, do it right, you'll have your seed for next year, and you'll have plenty of garlic ready whenever you want it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short video. And well, I say it wasn't all that short, But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. And of course, get out there in your garden and get to growing something.